God only knows what to expect next week. Listen to JPK or KJP on what she was asked yesterday at the White House. Listen to this. Cut 10.
Given the number of Republicans who have said they won't accept the results and just the unpredictability of this election compared to others, is the White House doing any contingency planning for election night or the day after? Just people not accepting results if violence breaks out. How are you guys thinking about that?
So a couple of things. I've been asked about this before, and I want to be clear and say this again. Americans should feel free, safe. They should feel safe.
Can we stop? I can't even listen to her answer. She's reading it, and she is the absolute worst.
I've never seen anything like this. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this where a person is so clearly unqualified for their jobs. She has absolutely no ability to do this job. She stands up there every single day and reads every single answer to the most basic questions, and sometimes can't even read them. I mean, she the entire time that question is being asked, she's flipping to a page, I guess, about election violence. Mm-hmm. And then the entire time, her eyes are straight down to the podium, and she's reading every word of it. Why not just put Siri in charge of this job? You could just put an email. Hey Siri, read answer about election. And then she could just an automated voice can go through the transcript and mispronounce words and butcher things just like Karine Jean-Pierre does.
And me.
And you. But at least you're butchering things off the top of your head. She's reading them and still butchering them.
Okay, here's the thing. I want to go back to Biden. So now they're talking about violence from the GOP that won't accept it. But here's Biden, cut 6 last night.
We know that more and more ballots are cast in early voting or by mail in America. We know that many states don't start counting those ballots till after the polls close on November 8th. That means in some cases we won't know the winner of the election for a few days after the election. It takes time to count all legitimate ballots in a legal and orderly manner. It's always been important for citizens in democracy to be informed and engaged. Now it's important for citizens to be patient as well.
Right. So why is it we're going backwards in a world that just keeps getting faster and faster, more complicated, in a world that has blockchain? Why is it that we are going backward? And now we're being told for the first time in my life, no, first time was 2020, second time in my life that we have to wait days before we know the election results.
No, that's happened before. I mean, we did the 2000 elections, and that took quite some time.
I know, but it wasn't expected. It wasn't expected. Yeah. Yes, when it's close. But generally speaking, we've only waited for Alaska and Hawaii. Okay.
I mean, they've been counting votes late. Usually the results are known, right? Like usually there's enough of a separation. They're not close enough that you have to worry about every little last vote trickling in.
Correct.
But I mean, part of this is state law. Like Pennsylvania's state law still was not changed from 2020. Still says you cannot tabulate any early votes until Election Day. Mm-hmm. So there's no way they're going to have them all cut. They're not.
Yeah.
They are.
I wonder why.
Quite clear. Well.
I don't want to get into it.
Republicans did not change it either.
I know. Listen,
should be done.
Here's the thing.
You're right, though.
Here's the thing. This is inexcusable in this country, but that's what I would expect from this country today. We're not We're not America. We're not. That's gone. Now we can always revive it just by our attitude and what we take into our own hands. What we do ourselves. That's America. Americans always were the ones that like, you won't climb that mountain? I'll climb that mountain. This country says you can't do it that way? Here, let me show you how to do it. That's who we are. But the people have been convinced they no longer have any power to do anything, to reinvent. The only guy that's really showing us that is Elon Musk. That's the only guy in our society that really shows us as a nation, and he's under attack. They do everything they can to shut him down. And Joe Biden actually had the cojones to say last night that, you shouldn't be so selfish, that our democracy, our republic, Joe, our republic, maybe the president should get that right. He says our democracy, our form of government, is a way of being. We need to vote knowing who we've been and what we're at risk becoming. I agree 100%. But he also said that you, in this defining moment, have got to stop worrying about those petty things like the price of gas and food. Petty things? Really? Those are petty. It's petty for me to worry that diesel reserves are at a 71-year low. It's petty for me to tell you a story out of Lincoln, Nebraska, about a trucking company. With everything that's going on and a potential rail strike still looming, he didn't solve that. He just pushed it off. That too can disrupt the shipment of fuel. The guy who owns the Lincoln-based Stanford Matic Trucking, he said, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't believe we have any alternative. So if the pipeline shuts down, it's shutting me completely out of business. He's been in business for 26 years. He said everything that they're doing is costing everybody more money. The poor people are the ones who are going to suffer the most because it all comes back down to them. The people who can't afford it the most are the ones who are going to get hit the hardest. Of course. If they can't deliver or they have to raise the price of diesel fuel, which is coming after the election, he says everything in stores in every city in the United States is brought in by truck. Probably 99% of those trucks run on diesel. So you're going to see everything in the grocery stores go up until the prices of diesel go down. Well, I'd like to say that 99% of the trucks run on diesel that are delivery trucks, yes. But 100% of the trains run on diesel. 100% of the ships run on diesel. And I don't think I don't think that it is petty to think about that. Now, this isn't the first time, by the way, that you're going to have a turkey shortage for Thanksgiving. However, this is a particularly bad year. Right this year for Thanksgiving, you may not be able to afford the things that you have had in my life. Every Christmas, Thanksgiving, we have had turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. Every year. My entire life. Maybe not this year. You're going to have a hard time getting a turkey. The prices in the stores are jacking up so high that you may not be able to afford it. By the way, the Fed approved another 3-point hike to take rates to the highest since 2008. Let me just remind you, in 2008, Biden was running and said there will be no coal plants here in America. No coal plants here in America. He's still saying that. He's also still saying, in fact, do we have the clip of John Kerry, cut 7?
Ford Motor Company and General Motors and other companies around the world have spent hundreds of billions of dollars retooling their plants. Why? Because they're going electric. And by 2035, that's all we're going to have in America. Electric cars being manufactured, not on the road, but being sold in new cars. That's President Biden's goal. By 2035, he wants the power sector of America to be carbon free. So if we accelerate these efforts, which is what technology and entrepreneurial activity help us to do, this is going to change even faster. And so that's where I draw enormous hope and some optimism, because
Great.
I
Stop.
believe.
So what he believes is we're all going to be fine. And the tooth fairy is real as well. Sorry, kids, to break it to you. This is not selfish for you to worry about. This is not petty for you to worry about this. This is not a one-time thing. These prices will not go down if this administration continues. Let me give you this. Earlier in October, the International Monetary Fund issued a stark warning about the global economy. In it, the IMF economic counselor and director of research wrote that the 2023 slowdown will be broad-based, with countries accounting for 1/3 of the global economy poised to contract. The three largest economies, the United States, China, and the Euro area, will continue to stall. It will also reopen economic wounds that were only partially healed post-pandemic. In short, the worst is yet to come. Okay. Is that petty to worry about that? Because these are the people that are spending money. Think of this. They're spending money, which needs to be printed. So they're printing money so they could give you, how many billions did he give away last night? So they can put that into the economy. And then, at the same time, raise the interest rates so you can't afford to spend money because they need to claw that money back. They're taking that money away from you, and at the same time, all of the money that you have saved is being devalued. Is this petty to worry about this? By the way, the president went over to OPEC and said, hey, can you... He only wanted to do it until the election was over. We now know. But you know what would have strengthened his hand to bargain? The Keystone Pipeline. But he canceled that. This guy is so incompetent, and this administration and the Congress and the Senate are going right along with it. He may be incompetent. He may have bad ideas, but I can guarantee you, these are not his ideas. This is a strategy from the far left, and they are crippling us. So I'm sorry, President Biden, as I do agree with you that you said last night, dark forces are threatening democracy. No, sir. Your own dark forces that you are in bed with that are carrying out the policy you are, in some cases, hiding and some places celebrating, those dark forces are a threat to our republic. And with God's help and God's blessing, the madness will end November 8th, next Tuesday at the ballot box. May it be a fair fight.